everybody. I've got some pork tacos. It's got some beans in it and chilies. This is beef enchilada, chips, salsa, little vegetables. This is beef and chicken with some queso mix and cilantro. And then I found a whole bird recipe, a Mexican style bird. So it's got a lot of different flavors that I haven't worked with: cumin, chilies, cilantro, brown sugar. And these over here are chicken tostadas with cheese and peppers in it. I got some Mexican rice in that dish. And then this with the cheese on top is Mexican cornbread, and I just sprinkled some cheese on it. So a little bit of something for everybody. Hope you guys enjoy. No, but I appreciate everybody coming out. Got a lot of new faces, and that's cool to see. This is going to be the third episode of Dinner and Debates. So, we're going to get right to it. We've been talking about a lot of different topics, from programming to who's doing the programming to sidebars about AI versus human intelligence and what's happening. And today I kind of wanted to take it a little bit different, and I'm going to pose a question to everybody. And, whoever wants to go first, feel free to jump in. And after that, I'll give my spiel as to, what I feel on the topic. And so, the topic and the question today is, what is America's biggest addiction? So, take your time, we'll let the Jeopardy clock play. And, there's no wrong answer, because we'll delve into what everybody, thinks. So, feel free.
Well, I don't know. I guess, when you ask that question, it makes me, kind of wonder, whether you're talking about, America as in, our government or, the people that kind of discuss that are, behind the scenes,
I mean, every human. I could say what's the world's biggest addiction, but I'm really speaking as to America, because that's where we are. So you say money?
I say money, yeah.
You say money?
Money.
You say money?
Media.
The media? What do you mean by the media?
So social media, as well as magazines.
Looking at your phone, that type of thing? Okay.
I'd probably say media also.
Okay.
I mean, my first word popped in my head was money.
So we got a lot of monies. Why do you feel that money is the biggest addiction?
Well, I mean, I feel like money is kind of what drives everything that goes on in a day-to-day basis, and also all the stuff behind the scenes that you kind of talk about with the 1%. It's money, and that's what I guess that's what people sell to you is what you the milestone that you want to get to. You want to be these people who have all this.
That's how the status is gauged in our realm. Okay, what do you feel?
So I would probably say that in the world, like you said, but America specifically, money does literally drive everything. It's the root of so many decisions. Talking big corporate, big pharma, for instance, that all. And I feel because of such a need to have money and that greed that we have, it's driving hate in the country.
There's words that you're using that you're getting a lot closer, so the two of you together are getting closer to it. But what's your?
It's pretty much going along with all of that. The thing that I was thinking about and I've always thought about with money is about the idea that it's in our country we are all so fascinated when it drives our country pretty much, but it's at the end of the day made up. All the paper is just paper. I always think about that because literally tomorrow our currency could be animals.
Even more than that, it's numbers on a computer screen.
Yeah.
It's not even paper anymore. It's literally numbers on a computer screen. So when they talk about things that can threaten America, like a cyber attack, would wipe out everybody's record. So you could be like, yo, I got $5,000 in the bank. Be like, we don't have the computer records anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even real paper that you can hand to somebody
Yeah.
anymore. So it's on a real delicate kind of balance as far as how much we value it compared to like what he's saying, what it's actually really worth if something bad happens. Like pretty quickly becomes something to light to start a fire.
So-
you know what I mean?
So it sounds like, well, let me get to you before I say what I think. It sounds like you guys are saying money wise because we got a couple people with different.
So I said media because what getting on your phone and going on to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, or watching TV and getting and digesting of this abundance of information that we have at our fingertips now. It is very important that you get your knowledge and information from forms of media that are actually telling the truth, like they have evidence to back up whatever whatever the headline is for that day. They have the evidence to say this is what happened, here's where it happened, here's a video or something that is actually tangible and visible, something that you can see, compared to a lot of forms of media which kind of take things out of context or blatantly lie or
Okay.
like spread misinformation.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Every day, I hear the same message that you hear, and I get the same message that you just gave, but I always want to know the next question. So, okay, it doesn't matter what side I'm on. The other side's telling me I'm listening to fake news and get better sources.
No,
So what's the
I
good
get
source?
that.
Like, where am I supposed to go for this good news? Because that's everybody's answer.
It's
But
on
what
both
is
ends-
it?
That's the thing. It's on both ends of the political spectrum with issues like that. So that's why you have to have multiple sources that have a history of being unbiased compared to going to either CNN or Fox News, because those honestly aren't tangible sources of information anymore. Because CNN just reports first, and a lot of the times what they report isn't actually factual. Like as we saw recently with Jussie Smollett, a couple of reports came back as being false.
Yeah.
Yet they were the very first ones to report it. And then Fox News is simply biased towards who's currently in office right now. And they've had a history of being on the right end of the spectrum, which is fair. However, there are unfair levels of stereotyping and different forms of biases against different minority groups.
What do you feel is the cause of those things? What do they gain
I think it's,
from doing what they're doing?
well, with Fox News, it's been a literal social hierarchy historically throughout America's history.
Okay.
It started with the Constitution, which I make a joke, or Michael Che, he's a SNL correspondent. He, in one of his stand-ups, he made the joke that the U.S. Constitution is white FUBU. FUBU is for us bias.
Yeah.
It started there in order to keep certain people in political power, certain people at the top of the social hierarchy.
See, you're telling me what's happening. I'm asking you what's the end goal. Go ahead. He seems to.
I just think it could just go back to money. You feel me? Like
I
media
think,
ratings,
yeah.
like they get paid for that. So it's just
I think money and media go hand in hand. Like you can't have one without the other.
You just said a very important thing, but I'm gonna let you go first. If you have anything you want to add, you okay? So you say money and media go hand in hand. I could interchange that with fashion, with music, with movies, with food. Everything that's in this realm goes hand in hand with money. I'm surprised, and I think it's kind of because you guys have been watching and thinking, and from the steps, from the programming, from the beginning, you know, that we had so much of the same answers, because I think a lot of other people, when I go out and ask this question, are going to have, you know, drugs. I've heard porn. I've heard, you know, a lot of different things. But every day that we wake up, we are in a system where you can't survive without money. We're in a system where, you know, I was telling my man Izzy the other day, if I knew how to live off the land, I knew how to fish, you know, all that good stuff, and I could just live off of that, you are not able to do that in America anymore. You're either on somebody's land, or you need a fishing license, or it's not deer hunting season. There's a reason why you need money to be able to survive at the very, you know, minimalistic forms of living. So I'm surprised that everybody came to that conclusion that fast. I'm gonna let Steve kind of throw in his view on what money does to our society, and then I'll, you know, break it from there. So.
I mean, obviously we're all on that same sphere, so I always try, like I said, go to that next level of like, well, it is an addiction though. And not everybody is driven by it, so, but they have their addiction. So then I start wondering, like, what is it about us as a species, or us as human beings, or whatever it is that makes us be whatever our particular addiction is. Like, what drives addiction, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And so, does money makes life easier, but I think we're all pretty aware that it doesn't, in fact, make you happy. Like,
so in the sense of programming, there's so many different programs that I see when it comes to whether you're from Nigeria or whether you were born in Columbus or whether you're white or whether you're Asian. You know what I mean? There's so many different programming, whether your parents were in the house together or split up. But the one constant that I see in all the programming is get money. When we send our daughters to go find who's going to marry, you could have a perfectly good man, you know, loves you to death, doesn't cheat, you know, is on point, but he's a janitor. And then you got Wall Street dude pulling up in the, you know, Escalade. Mom doesn't even know nothing about Escalade, dude, and he's like, yeah, you need to make sure you talk to Charles. Like, hold on Tommy real quick and see what Charles is talking about. And it's all based on one thing. When we go to college, it's not like, oh, you're going to become the greatest doctor so you can help the most amount of people. If you're making $200,000 here servicing people, and somehow some other company calls and is like, hey, we'll pay you double to come to, you know, Las Vegas and do the same thing. Oh, well, Jesus wants me to go to Las Vegas. This is a blessing from up above. Like, it's always a blessing from Jesus when money comes. But his word and the word tells you that the hardest person to make it into heaven is a rich man. So how is he the one telling you to go get more and more and more and more money? So that's what I see with the programming side, which is why I started out with that, because regardless of what experiences we have, the one thing I've noticed that we all have is the programming of get money. And that's cool, because what I've learned is that it's not the actual getting the money that is the problem. It's the love of the money. But unfortunately, the more money you get, the more you want, and that's the way it works, and that's the catch-22 in trying to balance that out that nobody understands anymore in my book, and that's why I feel like we're all addicted to the same thing. I feel like that's too deep.
nah, I feel like everybody's in agreement.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I don't.
Don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah, like,
So at the next level, then, I pose the question, and we'll take another pause because it's going to be deep. When does the love of money begin in your book? Or your book? Whoever wants to go first, when does the love of money begin? And take your time.
I mean, I remember needing 35 cents to buy milk in the school cafeteria at lunchtime when I was in the second, first grade. So at that point, I was aware that money existed and I needed it to get things I wanted. I don't know if that's when the love of it starts or not, but that's when the knowledge and appreciation of it. So
Do you
if
think-
you go from the programming side of it, I think it starts getting embedded into people around the time they're in first grade, second grade, third grade.
So, you think at the point where you don't have enough and you need, see, that's different than I have 5 chocolate milks. I'm trying to figure out how to get a 6th one. So I swindled 35 cents from the. Go ahead. When does the love of money begin? I don't believe you love money then. I feel you needed money. That's different. You need
I
money.
think it starts in early adolescence when you're rewarded for doing something simple like making your bed. And then you have this, you're taught this concept where I have this currency that I can now use to buy whatever I want, even whenever you can.
So you mean the seed is planted?
Yeah, so it starts when you're young and then it kind of builds. They start asking what you want to do for a living when you're very young, and then you have like, I want to be a superhero and stuff like that because I want that validation, that feeling of power, which money can also bring.
Okay.
So, and then it continues on with different forms of media that you digest. And then you actually start to have to face reality. I need a job to make a living
Okay.
and continue to purchase whatever I feel or whatever I hold value.
You say a lot of words and they sound innocent, but like make a living. That's vague, you know what I mean? Like what everybody's making a living is completely different. You might feel like you need to make $250,000. You don't make that now, but you're living. You know what I mean? You might need to make $1 million. He might get a football contract for $10 million and be like, "Oh, I'm Le'Veon Bell. It's not enough. I need more." So I mean, so that, like those words, our programming level is different. Let me let Aiden go, because I know she want to say something real quick.
So I was gonna say that it begins with something like Rob said, like when you're very young and you like get money, or like you use money to get something. But then like there's a lot of kids who don't have money growing up.
Yeah.
So then I also kind of think like the love of money begins when you don't have it,
Okay.
and like you want it because you want to get things.
Okay. Natalie, or
I mean, I agree with what she said. Like the seed being planted at a young age, but like once you're like old enough and like able to compare yourself to somebody else, oh, they have this, I want that. So
why do you want it?
maybe like then that comes in like to fit in or to you feel like I don't know. Go ahead. Say.
No, hold on. Go ahead and finish your
I don't
thought.
I don't know how to say it. And I just want to see what he said.
Okay. Well, you know, fitting in is one of the reasons why people do what they do, but I think fitting in is also linked to programming. But go ahead.
Going off of that is kind of like they feel powerful. When you get that first $5, you feel that power to be able to buy whatever you kind of.
So the
desire.
reason you want the money is actually to get the power.
To feel like.
So the more money you get, the more power you get, and that makes us feel good.
So it's like you seek pleasure. That's where the addiction piece comes in. Eventually, money's not going to be the thing that satisfies some people. So then they turn to something else to gain that satisfaction.
That's what I was saying.
So I think it's more pleasure than power, though. Like
I think
power, I like
I think it just
in
makes
the
life
grand
easier.
scheme, I understand like
I think
power being like that's why people like love money the way they do. But like at that adolescent age, I don't think the concept is really power as much as it is.
Well, I
Like
feel
pleasure.
like even for like our age too, like even if I have a lot of money, or like if I start acquiring money, like I don't necessarily feel like I have power, like who I don't. Yeah.
So you guys are go ahead.
Well, one, I think that's just a personal thing with you.
Mm.
That's personally how you feel. But to the programming piece, with this, I'm thinking human nature wise. I was just thinking like goes back to greed. I don't know if I already said that, but like if you think back to hunter and gathering times, like people who are hunter gatherers gather like the most stuff for their people to bring back to their people.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get as much as you can.
Yeah.
And that's that. Back then, I was just to like help others, but I think it just evolved to, especially when we product, like just America in general, we become more individualistic as opposed to like the group, like for the good of the group, like how it used to be.
Yeah.
Now we're like, well, I gotta get as much as I can for me.
I'm asking you and everybody else, I believe there's a reason why that is true. And the reason why that is true because every song that I listen to, every movie that I watch, for every 10 that's talking about it's all about me, get mine, do more for me, like fuck everybody else, then there's like one nice like holy love story and then there's 10 more. So what you're being given all day is that same product, regardless of where you go. Like every single picture I see, people got their middle fingers up and shit. I'm like, why is everybody so angry at the world? Like, why is nobody just hugging and like, you know what I mean? So it's a systematic thing that is happening to all of us. So when you're saying that, I keep coming back to the programming. But the one thing I believe that we're all being programmed to do is to be greedy. And the more greedy that each of us can be, the more it eliminates this person or that person or, you know what I mean, the next person, because there's only so much to go around.